Hey everyone, this is Justine, or LL Farms on the blockchain, and I am in the working group of the Steem Alliance Community Foundation. And it was brought to my attention by Snook in a video that there was still a bit of confusion and just something missing about clear information about this foundation in a really easy to understand way. And so the idea put forward was to do a video. And so I'm going to try to do that in the best way I can. I'm going to try to keep them short and sweet, kind of separate them into different categories and ramble as little as possible to try to explain what this is and what we're doing, and most importantly, what it's not, because there's been a lot of confusion about what this foundation is, what it's not, and what the goals are overall. So first things first, the Steem Alliance Foundation is not a foundation right now. It's an idea. It's an idea that will hopefully turn into a community project that advances Steem. The focus and the main focuses are to be transparent, accountable, and flexible for adopting more responsibility as it grows. So it's very much an experimental group. We don't know exactly what we'll be doing, and by we, I mean the community. We don't know what the community foundation will be responsible for, and hopefully it will grow as it goes along and take on more and more things as it proves that it's capable. So, because the goal is for it to be a community foundation built by the community, there's a lot of things that are unknown, and that has made it very confusing for people, which is understandable. It's confusing for me because there are many, many unknown things. As of right now, we don't know exactly what this foundation will be. We don't have a structure for it. We don't know what it will look like, what it will do, and who will run it. We're working on that right now. So a lot of the election talk that you hear about, the proposals, are all working on a structure of this foundation. Tell us what it will look like. And that was put to the community. So every aspect of this foundation will be built by the community. Every decision has been put to the community, which is really great. And it also makes it a bit confusing. It also makes it hard to follow because there are so many unknowns, and it's very different than a project going and choosing some individuals who are qualified and capable, building a foundation, and then coming to the community and saying, hey, look what we've done. This is very different. I don't believe this has been done before in this way. Other blockchains do have foundations combined with a Steem or a DAO system, just like the Steem DAO that BlockTrades is building. But I don't believe it's been given to the community in this way. They may have been given a choice, choose A or B, but not, hey, here's an idea, you guys run with it. And so because of that, it's a little bit messy. But the good news is that at the end of this will truly be the community's foundation. This will not be a secret room, backdoor talk, thing that was built with questionable leadership that is something we hear a lot about on the Steem blockchain. This will be the community's foundation, but we have to build it first. So there are a lot of unknowns, but to kind of help clear things up about the idea, what were the main goals and idea of this foundation, and how did it come about? Well, I was there from one of the initial conversations. This was something that's been brought up a couple of different times. I've heard many people talk about the idea of a community foundation. This specific one was brought forward with an idea from Steem Inc. that just simply said, hey, we've been thinking about this idea for a foundation. We're willing to help fund it if you guys can build it. And a working group was formed. Another working group was formed. And here we are trying to still get this thing built. So what are some of the main goals, ideas that it was originally supposed to do? So the idea was for it to be the face of the chain. Many times over the last, we're in our 4th year now of Steem. I've been here for about a year and a half. The community has depended on Steem Inc. for almost everything. And while Steem Inc. is a really important part of the Steem ecosystem, they're a huge stakeholder, there's a lot of individuals here, and we are a large community, and it's about time that we took ownership and took responsibility for some of the things that shouldn't be on Steem Inc.'s plate. So one of those things would be to be the face of the chain, working alongside groups like the Steem DAO system, which is the worker proposal system from BlockTrades, the Steem Business Alliance, which is a group of businesses designed to onboard businesses and help them grow here and bring investment onto the chain, as well as alongside Steem and E, to work along these groups and be the liaison to the community, the voice of the community, that can focus on marketing, upkeep of steemit.com, possibly additional features added there, development of SteamMD, to outreach about blockchain technology and Steem in general, put on events. It could take care of the marketing aspect and PR aspect that is missing terribly from the blockchain. While we have a lot of individuals that are working on really great marketing campaigns, and even the Twitter campaign that's happening right now, there's not a look for Steem. There's not a combined message put out about Steem. There's tons of confusion still about what Steem is and what's the difference between Steem and Steemit, and what exactly is this amazing community that we all know about, but we're not really broadcasting it to the world. PR is another thing that's been lacking. We've heard so many different times where a story will come out and have it so completely wrong about what this place is and what's happening, and there's no real group responsible for making sure that information is put out, the correct information. It's all been on an individual aspect. So this is an idea of being a way to have a little bit more organization, to have a community voice in a way that's organized and can put out messages to the mainstream, to push Steem to where we all know it can be, to be the voice, be the combined crowdsourcing effort on this chain with possible funding. So it has to be self-sustainable. It needs to focus on fundraising or have some sort of sustainable funding to be possible, which is something that the structure proposals need to be working on. But the idea is to come together as a community and help push Steem into the mainstream arena to be able to show the world what we have to offer. That's the goal. What is the working group? The working group is a powerless group of individuals that was elected by the community to help facilitate this, to help organize it, to say, okay, we have to organize an election to figure out what these structures, which structure we want to choose as a community. The working group goes away after the foundation is set up. Our only goal is to help establish it, and then the working group is done. So what's happening currently with this foundation is we are in a stage process that is choosing what the foundation will be. These are the proposals you're hearing about. There are multiple posts telling you each of the proposals. Currently, we are in a voter registration time period. I'm going to try to focus in the next couple videos first on the difference between the Steem DAO and the Steem Business Alliance and this foundation, to talk about why all three can really work well together and that they're all three needed, because that's been something I've been hearing a lot, is they think that they're the same. There's a lot of confusion thinking that all three groups are the same thing, and it's just all three are not needed. So I'll talk a little bit about that. I'll also try to go over the proposals as best as I can to kind of explain the choices that we're being given as a community in a way that maybe is a little easier to understand. And the funding. I did speak a little bit already about the commitment from Steemit to help fund it, but this is something that we'll have to work on as a community and should be addressed in the proposals itself. So the working group, and what myself is sitting on, is we're just here to help. We're just here to help make it happen. This is not a governance. This is not a establishment that's taking over the blockchain and going to take control. There's no code changes that are supposed to be happening with this, where the foundation would not take over for the witnesses. It's just an additional way for the community to have a voice and possibly get funding and things. That's it. As far as what it will be specifically, we still have to decide that, which I know is confusing, but we have to build it. It's the community's foundation, but we have to build it first. So I hope that those main goals, what it is and what it's not, were helpful. Like I said, the next one I'll try to focus on the Steem DAO and the Steem Business Alliance and explain it in the best way I can. If you have any further questions, please pop them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. If you found this video helpful, let me know and I'll try to do more. I am I'm just here to help in whatever way I can. The goal that I had for this being on the working group was to ensure that the community's voice was heard and to keep communication open and keep things transparent. And so if this sort of communication is needed, I'll do my best to help that. So thanks for listening to me ramble. I hope that answered some questions, and stay tuned for additional videos to possibly answer more. Thanks.